The biggest challenge for medtech startups today is,
Oh, that's an easy question because it's raising money.
if I could change one thing about how innovation gets funded in medtech, it would be.
This may be very subjective, but I personally think we need quick money for the startup ideas.
MedTech World from the MedTech Conference by AdvaMed, and I have the pleasure to be with Andrew Celentano. He is representing Murali Medical and also Start LLC. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So let's start giving a bit of context to our audience. What is Murali and what are you doing in the medtech space?
Well, I'm very excited about it because my dad went through prostate surgery, which a lot of older men go through, and he just had the most awful time for the rest of his life. The quality of life went downhill. There were a lot of repercussions, there were a lot of adverse reactions, and almost every issue that could go wrong went wrong with him. And we, at Start LLC, we do a lot of product development work. We had a doctor come to us last year, and he said, why don't we go through the perineum instead of the urethra? And that resonated so much with me because going through the urethra, by definition, is going to damage things. And let's face it, we need the void. You need the urethra to be in perfect health, so why even do any of that? So he came up with a concept, and he said, when we do a biopsy, it's done through the perineum, why can't we just use a little bit bigger needle and RF energy and do that? So I researched it. I came across a fellow that's an expert at RF energy. He said, I can do this. He said, I have 136 patents. I can find a way to do it without burning the tissue, but just dehydrating the cells, releasing water, and it'll be a lot less painful, it'll be a lot less traumatic, and it should be an outpatient procedure that you walk out with a Band-Aid, and that's it. So we're excited about the concept. We're very early stage, but I've got a great team lined up. I'm very excited about it. We're just getting started. We're just raising money now. At this conference, it's just wonderful because I've been talking to all these different resources that can help me along the way and learning a lot about what it takes to raise money, which is a big part of my job right now, raising money.
Yeah, and you are doing it very well.
Oh, thank you.
You have also a background as business developer for Start LLC, and
Yes.
this indeed helps you to push Murali. So give us a bit of background. What do you see in the medtech space for startups that are in the same stage that
Well, I think I have an interesting perspective because I have an engineering background. I went to the dark side of sales many years ago, and so I've always been in sales, but for the last 15 years I've been in the medical space, very specifically business development in product development, and it's a very exciting field, and START specializes in unique surgical tools, mostly mechanical, but in the case of RF energy and nitinol needles, for example, we've done something for GERD called Stretta, we've done something for fecal incontinence called SECA, we did something for atrial fibrillation called CardioFocus, so we have a lot of expertise in that area, and so it's a perfect lineup for us. And what's great about it is, sometimes clients come with just a thought, an idea, and no knowledge of how to do it, and we'll come up with the answer. Sometimes they come with a prototype that works, but it's not ready for prime time, it's not ready for commercial yet. So we help them go through the whole process of animal testing and then human trials and all of that, and then what's called design for manufacture. And it gets turned over to a contract manufacturing and becomes public, and we have a whole bunch of products that have gone to market successfully, so we're very excited about that.
We're looking forward to see.
Yeah.
Now, we're gonna start before we dive deep into
No pun intended.
into the actual project.
Okay.
Icebreaker, okay? I'm gonna give
Icebreaker.
you a sentence and you're gonna complete the sentence with the
Okay.
first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
First one. Are you ready?
Sure. I think
The
so.
biggest challenge for medtech startups today is.
Oh, that's an easy question because it's raising money. In this environment, it's more difficult than ever to raise money for a number of reasons. Of course, NIH cutbacks and things like that. But also, specifically, it's difficult to raise money if you're not doing AI. AI is such a big area these days. So much money is going to AI. I have a very simple product that's going to be, but we still need real products that do real physical things. So it's an important product, and it's going to change the whole landscape of prostate surgery for the better with higher quality life. Quality of life is what it's all about. So what I love in this industry is there's been a big push in the last 10 years or so for better quality of life for patients all around, and more home testing and more things that are relevant to the person at a level that's preventative and I think that's going to help. It does help with the condition of the human condition these days.
Indeed.
You know, is so much better than it was even just 10 or 15 years ago.
Which does the end goal.
Yeah, I'm proud to be part of that.
Second one, what most people misunderstand about bringing a medical device to market?
Well, I think because I'm in it myself, it's kind of hard to look at that from an outside perspective, but I think what it would be is people just don't understand how much time and effort it takes to make sure a product works. You know, people will complain about, oh, the FDA. Well, thank God the FDA is making sure the product works, first in animals, then in human trials. You're doing very specific things to the human body that could be very dangerous if they're not properly, controlled. So, thank God for all that. But it costs money and takes time. People wonder why it takes 9 years to get a product to the market. It's got to go through a whole rigorous discipline, and thank God, because I mean, I wouldn't want someone operating on my prostate without the proper kind of testing beforehand and preparation and care, and I've seen the kinds of things that you have to do to pass all these tests, and I'm very glad we have those. So I think that's the challenge. Yeah.
And the last one, if I could change one thing about how innovation gets funded in medtech, it would be?
Well, this may be very subjective, but I personally think we need quick money for the startup ideas. And there are contests and you can get $5,000 and $10,000 and $15,000. That doesn't do much. I would love to see more foundations like the Gates Foundation or whatever put up the $50,000 or $100,000 for a good idea quickly. And of course, that's what grant money is for, and NIH has been a big player there. So it's a bit of a challenge right now because of the way NIH has been cut back and all of that. But I'd like to see more of that. I think we need to throw some serious money at startup ideas early and just see if they, de-risk them and see if they work, So.
Yeah. Now let's talk about investments. You are right now in that stage, looking to put some eyes on you.
Yes.
Why an investor has to put their eyes on you?
Why they put their eyes on me? Well, and that's my challenge, is to make sure investors see the possibilities. And first of all, there's the overarching possibility of increasing the quality of life. There's a whole generation of older men. There's 150,000 of these procedures a year. Each procedure has a $20,000 ticket cost to it for after effect problems. And so what if we can get rid of those? And that's what my solution will do. We will get rid of all those adverse reactions after the fact, or at least many of them. And that's going to be better quality of life, money being saved. So for the good of that alone, but also we think we can make money at this. We found a way to get high margins on the products that we're building that I think will bring the investors good return. And so it's going to be a good investment all around. It's good for them and good for us. And by the way, before we forget, I want to also highlight, every Monday morning I go through about 300 articles on the best things that are happening in the industry. And I post 30 to 50 of them. And if people want to see that, they can go to startllc.com and /blog, or just click on our MedTech news item, and they will see the most amazing things. It's amazing what's going on every week. For example, this week we announced that you can take human cells and turn them into eggs. And so pretty soon a woman will not have to freeze her eggs. She'll just basically be able to give us a little sample of her skin, and they can turn it into an egg.
Wow.
And there's new, every week there's amazing new, they have batteries that'll last 50 years in your body. They're not quite in production yet, but it's phenomenal things that are happening every day. I'm just very excited about this industry.
Yeah, indeed. One of the things that investors mention all the time is if your solution, if your device, if your technology is actually going to change patient's life.
Yes.
How do you reply to this?
Yes. Well, in our case, we think it's easy because there's so much trauma. And in fact, some of the new devices that are being looked at are even more traumatic. I just don't understand why they're going down that path. We have a much easier path, it's just no one's doing it. So I like, by the way, I'm wearing a tie even though no one wears ties anymore. I'm kind of like an iconoclast. I'm breaking tradition with old tradition, but
yes.
I think we're breaking tradition and looking at a new way to pursue this that's going to be easier on the patient. And it's just, there's so much momentum for these other solutions because they're already in play, but in fact there's a very viable way to do something completely different. So to get back to your question, how do we convince investors that this is a good idea? First of all, we have good experts in place. I've got a urologist that said, for example, the perineum is a great way to do surgery. He's had very little blood loss through that channel. So we have a urologist that believe in this. And we have anecdotal evidence of other situations that are similar where we see very little trauma. So we've got that going for us, and it just makes sense too. We're not damaging the urethra, which is a very critical part of your body. I'd much rather have the ability to void easily than almost anything else in my life. And so I think one of the challenges is just to make sure we can articulate that to investors, and that's my job.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for being with us,
Thank you.
hopefully we can see you in the MedTech world space as well.
Thank you so much for this interview. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.